I kind of want to get your input on the whole Bitcoin thing, the Dogecoin thing, and how people are just so focused on this stuff over here while the big picture is right there in front of them, but they're not paying attention to that.
Um, okay, well, I think everything you just said is by design, right? And I can give you an example of someone who is a Facebook friend of mine. And I know this person, I know a little bit about their business because I used to frequent them as a client.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that they post, whenever I see it again, based on algorithms, I guess, but whenever I see it, they're posting things in defense of billionaires. And I happen to know that this person is not now, nor will ever be a billionaire. Um, and that's fact checkable. But, you know, I feel like, and this is an opinion, I feel like as a nation we've been taken advantage of. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. If you can make people believe um, certain opinions are fact, then you really can cause divisions between people who would otherwise not be divided. So, for example, um, I don't know how you can prove something's been wasted unless like you see a bunch of currency being flushed down the toilet or whatever. Because waste is an opinion. I think it's important to fund Head Start programs. And I haven't had a Head Start age kid in decades, literally. But I still think that's important for our society. You may find other people who have a different point of view and they think, hey, that's a waste of money. They're allowed that opinion. They really are. And if everybody votes, for example, in national elections, in local elections, in statewide elections, if everyone votes based on what is important to them, then I believe in our democracy. I really do. Um, Unfortunately, when you have people in place who are buying up media outlets and just
Mm-hmm.
pushing out all sorts of misinformation, if you don't have a fact checking society, what you're going to have is a bunch of people who may even think they mean well, right?
Right.
'Cause a lot of times we're stamping things with, like you said earlier, Jesus or Christian or something, and that's supposed to be the seal of approval. But not everyone is honest when they're using categories like that. So, circling back to what you were saying about people defending Elon Musk, I don't have evidence saying whether or not. I mean, I'm sure there's some. He's taken some type of assessment during the course of his life that might give you an idea of his IQ, for
Right.
example, whatever. But I've heard him say some pretty ignorant things. Now, I don't know if he's ignorant or if he was just saying these things to rouse a certain base. But what is fact checkable is how much his net worth has grown since November of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely fact checkable. And for the three or four people who make up, I want to say, what's the stat I just heard recently? We always talk about the top 1%, um, who combined have more money than the entire bottom half.
Yeah.
So that includes middle class. Like I'm talking to you if you consider yourself to be middle class. We're not just talking about people who are poor. We're not just talking about people who are out of work. We're talking about you. If your first name is not Elon, if your last name is not Zuckerberg, if you're not one of a very small group of people, then we're talking about you. How the only taxpayers being protected are the taxpayers who weren't really paying taxes anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not you. And it's not me. So, I mean, that I guess that's my opinion on all of the basically propaganda that's going out now. And it's exactly what you said. They want us watching to see if someone playing basketball has always been a woman or if they transitioned, medically.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they are stealing programs that our parents And eventually ourselves will be dependent upon. They're robbing them. It's like robber barons, what they used to call it. And no one is paying attention to that because we're all over here worried about whether or not someone is woke. Without a definition for woke, mind you. Like, again, it's like what they call dog whistles. It's like, okay, I know I can upset this base if I use this word. Nobody's going to kind of raise their hand slowly and say, exactly what do you mean by that term? Nobody's doing it because it's just a dog whistle. It's like, hey, let's hate the same people. I don't think billionaires hate any groups of people. Why would they? I don't even think it's about hate. Once you get to that level, it's all about your money. But if you can get a group of people or a few groups of people to hate a few other groups of people and always scrapping at each other and, always focused on what this person said and this person said, by the time they look up, by the time the dust settles, there's not going to be anything left for them to fight over. And that's the tragedy.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it, honestly. And that's it's wild. Like as we have these conversations, I kind of realize things. But when you put it in that perspective, it's almost mind blowing to think. You know what? There really is a reason that these people are in power. There's really a reason that these people are able to do what they do, and we're just letting them do it right under our nose.